Are live, ladies and gentlemen. We are breaking down the big storm that is coming midweek. We're going to talk a little bit in the beginning about what's going on currently with the storm moving through, what happened there. But we are going to be breaking down for those rewatching, we're going to be down in depth this high impact, damaging storm that's going to bring all precip types to the eastern U.S. and Northeast. So come on in and navigate your way through, and we'll be breaking this down. Text to scroll through. Hold up. Give me a second. Getting set up here. How are we doing, everybody? Let me pull up chat first. Just waiting for people to filter in here, and we'll get going. Again, I can't click on my stream on X tonight for some reason. I don't know why. About to get started here. We'll get one in a second. Upload my thumbnail. Apparently, we're about to get going here. Going. Get rolling here. 1 second. I'm having a technical difficulty right now. Give me 1 moment, ladies and gentlemen. We'll get going here. Alrighty. There we go. Alright, we're good. Alright, let's get going here. Start going. So here's what we got. Here's what we got for so for right now, at the moment. we got current storm. A little discombobulated. Getting going here. Uh, right. I thought the CAD was going to hold a little bit better, to be honest. I thought it was going to hold a little bit better. It did not. It was about actually pretty close to modeled, so I'll give him credit. But on the backside here, we are going to have more of a freezing rain risk, I think, than what's being advertised. We got. Let's go to HRR. And a freeze threat too with this, right? We had some rain today, a lot of melted snowpack, and then I think there will be some freezing drizzle to watch out for, along with black ice here just on the backside of this system. So keep an eye out here for these regions for some icy conditions and black ice, freezing drizzle possible overnight tonight into tomorrow morning, and then we'll kind of this will kind of just rot out here. And I think what I suspect is that our high was just a little bit too far east, just a little bit too far east. If we were a little bit farther back west, I think our CAD would have held better, and a lot more people further south would have been more snow, and that's what we would have seen happen here with this storm. But again, still not a bad, it wasn't too different. A lot of 1 to 3 inch totals, 2 to 4. Let's see, do we have any totals out? Let's see, and snow totals. Yahoo, I don't like that. 24 hours. See, this is why this. Come on, Yahoo. So you look at that first thing that comes up. It's not that hard. Probably not too many reports, I imagine. Oh, there we go. We got some though. Let's zoom in. There we go. So yeah, so a lot of as I suspected, further up north, and there's still snowing, I think, a little bit. Up here, your heaviest totals. You can see a lot of 2 to 5 inch totals up here, and then a bunch of 2 to 4 inch totals, 1 to 3 inch totals back here. So that was kind of what happened here, southern Vermont with the sweet spot. So yeah, it's been an interior December, but yeah, again, close margins for some of these people. So we're making out okay in terms of snowfall so far. But if we slide to yeah, that's kind of this is basically there's not too much to talk about with that storm that just happened overnight. But the real big kahuna here is what's going on after. So let's slide here to the GFS. YouTube chat, how we doing? How we doing, YouTube chat? Talk to me. What we got? Let's see what we got cooking here. 0Z GFS. Alrighty. All right, so we can see over the past few runs where now you see our upper level low was starting to form further south. I need a bigger color. Further, no, we got to go one bigger. One bigger. All right, upper level low forming further south. It allows more snow to start further south, heavier snow up here. Now, notice GFS now similar to the Euro. And it was the opposite of what I thought was going to happen. I thought Euro was going to go to the GFS potentially a little bit, and GFS went to the Euro. We're seeing this develop later, getting more sheared out. And if we go to, yeah, this is the current, see, it's not, and it's further west too. So when I looked at, we talked about it. So a couple things happened, which wasn't too far. Was I was right one thing, wrong in one area where I was like looking at the system was like you'd think we'd get a little bit more consolidated and we would develop an upper level low to form more closer central and western Pennsylvania versus Hudson Valley and New England, and that we have done. We're seeing that pop further west as well. Sorry, low pressure for I was talking about low pressure here, upper level further west. You guys would get what I meant. Um, and in return, notice it's more antifrontal further east then on the backside, and it's a less wide swath too of snow across western and central New York too, a little bit more difficult. And the same with the like eastern PA, less snow now as well. With if we're going to go into this kind of solution, and the low pressure developing a little bit later as well. So if we develop this low pressure just a little bit later, like we're doing, this also this prevents the heavy snow from really taking off, and also forces the wind threat a little bit further east as well. Now, on the other hand, or just it doesn't push it further east, it just delays it a little bit. I should rephrase that. And this everything further west, instead of delaying it and it being close, close to just being here in eastern New England, by pulling everything a little bit further west, even though we're delaying it, um, we're pulling the wind a little bit further west too, like we talked about. Could be a concern last night, and we're pulling the rain a little bit further west as well. So I'm curious to see. I think we could go back somewhere in the middle, maybe. I'm curious to see kind of how this plays out. See here on this run, got that you got that upper level low to form a little bit sooner, I believe. Take a look here. Yeah, where it puts the L is not really all too relevant and not too different. So then, as we evolve here, slide out. As the storm comes up, though, some of the biggest concerns I'm starting to have is not exactly the snow itself with the system. Um, it is actually the rain and the wind here across I-95 in New England. That across I-95 east to west and up into New England. That's kind of where my biggest concern is starting to lie now, and it's even starting to shift a little bit further west, I think, and that's going to allow some areas. Damn, we're draining battery like an MFer. Okay. And if we see here, what we have is our low-level jet. We take a look here at 850 millibars, right? Notice this low-level jet gets cranking. Actually develops a little bit later on this run, a little bit further east on this run compared to the last one. It's a little bit more widespread, but the stronger winds are confined a little bit further east on this run. So I'll be curious to see this low-level jet where it forms. It'll be critical, right? Our jet streak kind of here in the low here at 850 is kind of going to form a little bit further east on this run, even though it's a little bit more widespread um, here. So I'll be curious to see how this evolves, because what's going to happen is we're going to pull up, like we talked about, all this warm air, right? Your cold air comes in on the backside, right? Real good cold air, right? And another polar vortex stretch event, kind of small stretch. These are small stretching events. Sometimes you're going to have bigger ones. We've had some really small stretching events, but if we go here to the northeast, you notice is we're pulling up all this warm air, and we're getting into the 60s up here in eastern New England, and that allows for a potential only a wind threat, maybe a thunderstorm threat as well here in December. So that's something to keep an eye on. We could have, if we go to the Storm Prediction Center, boom, because we have an extreme fire risk right here in Los Angeles ongoing. So if you got family, let them know. But here's their day 3. Notice up the seaboard, there's a clear thunderstorm risk here, and marginal. Maybe an upgraded slight somewhere in here, but we'll keep an eye on that. And there is a significant damaging wind threat here, and it's highlighted. If you go here we go to the winds here, Surface wind 10 mile an hour, 10 meter. All right, notice as that low level jet gets cranking, so winds as well at the surface. Right, remember that low level jet is around 850 millibars in the atmosphere in our column. Ugh. And right around 850. Can Brady just draw a straight line here? And our winds at the surface, right? This is the surface. Here, not all of these winds here at 850 will mix down, but the warmer our temperature is at the surface, right? The warmer our temperature is just in general, the more stronger these winds from 850 millibars can get pulled down here from our low levels. They can get pulled down more, and the more we mix down these winds to the surface, the more we increase our damaging wind threat. And so I'm curious to see how do we get. Do we even get up if we get into the mid 60s across a lot of eastern New England? You can almost guarantee that that temperature is going to be the same as the wind gusts at least. It's not correlation, but for the storm, it's a coincidence. And so I would look at the potential for some 60 to 70 mile per hour wind gusts here across farther eastern New England up here, and this will extend into to Maine too. If I play this out a couple more frames, far east Maine, there'll be there'll be a 60 to 70 mile per hour threat. If we're able to get up in here to the 60s again, if this is if this keeps pulling further east, then this limits it more. It still could be a good 30 to 50 mile per hour, 35 to 50 mile per hour wind gust threat for a lot of people here, but it won't be the same as a 60 to 70 mile per hour wind gust threat. So right now, Cape Cod is definitely a center of focus. Eastern coastal Mass, eastern New Hampshire, Cape Ann, and then even down to eastern Jersey as well, eastern Long Island, southern Rhode Island, eastern Connecticut. Really, this whole area here, has the best chance to see some pretty significant wind. Eastern New Jersey coast will be there's no other coast. The coastal New Jersey will be a little bit of one to play out, and then also Eastern Carolina here out here in OBX will be something to watch for significant strong wind. You can play here. The NAM highlights this too. If I go back to here, we can go to regions. We can go to East US here. So if we go to Upper Heights and we go to Upper Heights here, and we're gonna actually we want upper air wind, and we want 850. We have 925 too. We're gonna take a look at that. But notice here at 850, right? These our low level jet gets cranking Wednesday afternoon across the Delmarva. If this were the case, you'd have to look at. Oh, I hate when that comes up. Go back. Go back. Ugh, whatever. It's fine. You'd have to look for a 50 to 60 mile per hour wind threat too here in some of these places, especially if we're mixing up surface. Yeah, if we're getting into the upper 60s too across, though, you're gonna definitely have to watch for a strong wind threat here across this region. If we're getting into the mid upper 60s in Delmarva and Eastern Carolina, as that low level jet starts forming, then we'll go back to upper air heights. 925s we'll go to this time. And again, it's just a little bit closer to the surface, right? So we're talking about it. Here's our vertical column of the atmosphere, right? Imagine this is like 500, right? And then let's go to, like 850, and then you got 925, which is just above the surface, just barely. And then here's your surface, right? So 925 is even closer now. So this gives us a better depiction, like especially under heavy rain, like these winds are much more easily accessible, even than just 850 millibars, because it's closer to the surface. It's easier, right? Because this is where our winds are. We're looking at right now in the atmosphere. easier for these winds to mix down. So 925 is very helpful to look at as well. So sliding back here, and we get a little bit of an idea here, right? Watch this low level jet just explode off the coast here, and a real strong wind threat right here. Anywhere really, right in this brown is really at risk for really significant damage and wind gusts here. Just on this specific model again, to be clear. Well, things will be clear. You'll kind of have to wait a little bit. We'll have to wait until likely Tuesday night, tomorrow night, to have a little bit clearly. Models are still playing a little bit, are waffling a little bit, so it's a little bit hard to narrow down whether or not it's only going to be this area. Will it be this area? Will it slide out into, farther into Western Mass? Will it get Hudson Valley? Will it get close to New York City? Coastal New Jersey? Like, we're still kind of fine tuning a little bit what's going on. What's going on? I don't listen to ads. So I'm gonna do that. But this is, and then in the core too, right here in the central of this low-level jet streak here, this is where we would be looking at for some really significant wind gusts, right? We have this southern flow, we're pulling up all this warm air, right? And these warmer temperatures are going to help mix down these strong winds right, in this region, and there's going to be a real widespread power outage. We do see this unfold. I still have to preface it with if. Oftentimes, these can be a little bit tricky. If temperature-wise, if we don't get as warm as modeled, it'll be harder. There is a little bit of an inversion, right? We do. There is the threat of thunderstorms here. It'll be a little bit dull, so that it should be a little bit It could be difficult if we don't get into. I'd say in those lower 60s is kind of a good benchmark. If we're only in the 50s across a lot of this region, it's going to be hard. Um, if we're in the 50s here, it's going to be hard to mix down these winds, which would be a good sign. People don't prefer power outages. Bart, how's it going? What a nice ride in the snow up here in Lewiston. Next up, complete obliteration of snow. How much snow did you get up there? I didn't see your last video update, so but it looked like a general 1 to 3, 2 to 5 across the area up there in Maine, at least so far. Saw some 4s and 5s up there, and might be closer to Augusta for tonight. Yeah, so this is we have a strong damage and wind threat on our hands here, and it's and here's the other factor that plays with this too. Uh, Slide back here is do we have can I get snow depth? How do I look at maps? Let's go to surface winter. I want to find snow depth between 2 and 2.5 bar. That's good. It's still solid. Here's why I want to look at snow depth is um, a lot of this actually someone had a good yeah, this girl right here. She has some good if you want to follow her on X, she has some good meteorology stuff. But she had a snow depth here. Um, she posted a lot of great stuff. I retweeted earlier. Here's the current snow depth. As of this was before today too. So some of this will freeze up tonight, but really some concerns here that there's going to be some real heavy rain that comes across this region. And even here before, some places maybe change over up in central New York, but especially up here across Vermont. I mean, look at a lot of these places here that have snow depth that is, here in double digits a lot across this region. And especially in that higher terrain, you have to worry about the fact that with 2 to 3+ inches of rain coming potentially, um, there's going to be the potential for some significant flooding with combined with the snowpack, and then also GFS easier to navigate. right? So along with the strong wind is going to be strong rain, right? This could be a convective line of thunderstorm. Very heavy snowfall rates in a quick period of time too. It's really going to be condensed, this heavy rain into about a 6 to 9 hour period, the heaviest of it, right? So we get this. This kind of sets the stage. Moderate to heavy rainfall that come in, um, over that starts Wednesday morning, and then the real chunk of it though is this period right here. It will be maybe a 6 to 9 hour period, of heavy rain, and then maybe some switch to snow on the backside, potentially up here for higher elevations, would be more favored, especially. But this does struggle to develop a lot of times, so it just oftentimes is too dry for really to get precipitation needed to get snow on the backside. So I wouldn't look too far into that for what models are showing here. But this heavy rain comes through and it melts away all the snowpack. I mean, 50s and 60s temperatures come in, and it melts away this entire snowpack here, and it makes it, a very concerning flooding situation ongoing, especially for some of these higher terrains. It will chew away. I'm telling you, seen it before. We talked about it last night. Eats away at the snowpack. These events, I mean, they absolutely, they eat at the snowpack. So I'm going to be watching, pretty closely on this aspect too, along with the wind. Really, we really have three, almost, I'll say four. We have four high impact things with this event. We have, flooding concern across New England and eastern New York potentially as well. Heavy rain sets up. We have snow coming in for, central and western New York, and could be the same with Pennsylvania. And those higher terrains here in, West Virginia and Western Maryland could get some more. They've been to start the winter as well. If you're ever looking for a snow chase spot, that's a great spot, in the Smokies, but in West Virginia. But there's that. And there's strong wind, which I think I mentioned. If not, I'm mentioning it again. There's strong wind, which is that third impact, and then that fourth impact. Notice we get lake effect snow behind it. Again, yes, the LES machine is going to turn on, and we're going to do it all over again, right? Real cold air comes in on the backside, right? Take a look at our 850s. We get real cold anomalies here. We get real cold air. Like this better. Let's go to maps. We can name it. It's fine for temperatures. Why not? And we'll slide here. The temperature 925 works too. And you can see here real cold temperatures coming on the backside. These are anomalies too. Or, no, these are actual temperatures. And we get cold, so you can take a look here at the surface too. We get cold. We get into the teens. So right, these lakes are colder now. Probably good 10 plus degrees colder. A lot of these lakes now, almost. Right, good 5 to 10 degrees, colder. I believe it was. I checked earlier this week. It was about 44 on Lake Ontario after being like almost 50. So that it dropped like 6 degrees from then. Might have dropped a couple more degrees. I'd have to look, but we're dropping lake temperatures again, but we weren't as cold at the surface as we will be this time. So it's all about, remember, with lake effect snow, it's not necessarily these record warm, lakes definitely helped. They do help to have higher lake temperatures here. Um, God Church, John, how are we doing? Love to see you guys. Love to see you guys. Keep it going. Bring the questions. I'm here for it. Yes, believe it or not, we have more lake effect at play as well with this storm on the backside. So we get here, right? We get into the teens. A lot of people here in New York, low 20s, if not, for this lake effect that comes again off Erie and on and Ontario, and we could be looking at another 1 to 2 plus feet of snow for these regions. A lot of these areas are already close to, if not over, triple digits, like we talked about. We mentioned when I put those thumbnails like 100 plus. I legitimately thought that it was just a little bit less. It was a little bit more spread out versus confined. high totals, but we still saw a big time lake effect, obviously, over the past, 7 to 10 days. It's been the LAS machine has been going crazy, um, and they're going to get more, another 1 to 2 plus feet probably for a lot of these areas. And remember, it's about that difference in temperature from 850 to the surface. So that temperature gradient from 850 to the surface, and the larger it is, the more dynamic your lake effect snow can get. So again, we get this polar vortex. We get a little bit of a lobe that comes into. Look how cold up the upper Midwest is going to get. Sub-zero, sub-zero Friday morning up there in Minnesota. We go to maps. We can go to GFS. See those sub-zero temps come in. Boom. All right, we get cold here on the backside. So even though, right, we have a lot of, we're switching to a little bit more of a transient. We're gonna keep going back and forth. We're gonna talk about that a little bit more, um, in a little bit. How, like, I think, I think my winter thoughts here is gonna be that, at least for the rest of the month, that I think December, I don't think we're gonna have a cold, snowy pattern locked in for the rest of the month. Um, Still can't get snowstorms within that. It's kind of a reloading pattern is what we're going to be in. That we go from, potentially cold and snowy for opportunities for a few days, and then switch back, and then kind of keep navigating back and forth. Let's get music back. Um, so we're like just keep going back and forth. Basically, is what I think is where we're going to be. You can see cold air, right, and then we get warmer again, and we get colder. And so it's going to be, we're going to go back and forth, but keep an eye. We're going to talk about something with vortex coming for later this month, potentially that could allow to unlock, um, prime January potentially again. So we're we're going to look at that a little later on in the stream, not too far. But yeah, so we turn on, right? We have lake effect snow, we have strong wind, we have heavy rain and flooding, and we also have regular heavy snow potentially across central and western New York with this. So there's a lot of different interesting factors with this, and I guess you could say five. We could have severe weather, which is we could have thunderstorms. So that would something to be keep an eye on here. If we look at the Storm Prediction Center and their outlook, again we have a little bit of Cape, but again this is going to be wind driven. You can see 1 to 300 joules, not a lot. Typically, severe weather days in the summertime, they're usually 800, to 1,000 times at least, or at least 500 in for New England. If you're going to be a little bit more driven, um, and 1 to 300 is a lot for typically for December. You don't usually see it, but for severe weather, it's not a ton, but it could be just enough. Could be just enough. Um, along with our low-level jet here to potentially get some severe damage along that, out ahead of that cold front that moves through. Let's see, same state, but I never get snow. They always get snow. That's just how the lake effect machine works, my man. It's just how it works, God Church. Still mad LES does not reach New York City. You gotta hope there's a big crater or sinkhole that happens in Pennsylvania, and maybe that's how you can get your lake effect. For now, though, no lake effect. You can get ocean effect in New York City. You can. It doesn't happen often. If only Buffalo and New York City were switched. Great. I can't imagine the Jets being in Buffalo. Jets Mafia? That be a thing? But yeah, we do have severe weather. A little bit of severe weather threat. You can see 130 knot mid-level jet streak, and 79, 75 knot low level jet. Those are in their forecast now. So it's going to get, and potentially, I mean, how strong does it get here on this NAM, for example? If we slide here, upper air, heights, surface, wind. No, not surface wind. Upper air wind. There we go. Oh, dang. I don't need all that. Here's 925. Oh, that's too far. Slide here to the NAM, North American model. Is that 3K? No, I don't want that. There we go. Let's slide to US regions, east. Dang. NAM has that low level jet here at 925. That's a 85 knot 925 right there. That'd be oof. That'd pack a punch. That would pack a punch. 88 knot. 88 knot. Low level jet. 925. That'd be oof. My Jets can win in normal weather. We definitely can't win in the snow. I don't think the Jets can win at all right now. I hate to break it to you. Sadly, you didn't even beat us. You didn't even beat the Patriots last time. I feel for you though. I feel for you. The Aaron Rodgers era there in New York. You're a Yankees and a Jets fan right now. It is no bueno. Let me slide back here to upper heights. Wind 850. Look at our 850 jet. Look at that core with the NAM in there. 95 knot low level jet at 850. That is 100, almost 100. Almost 100 over Eastern Mass there. 90 to 100 knot low level jet at 850. That's like that's dang near category 3 hurricane equivalent. Ninety-five knots is about 110 miles per hour. 100 knots is about 120 almost. 115. 115. That's like a category 3 low level jet here. So if this NAM one was right, this would be widespread power outages. Widespread. But oftentimes it is harder to tap into that, especially if we have an inversion here. If we slide to, let me get, what's that peak time frame? 10 mile per hour gusts. What's that peak time frame? Maps. It's about 7. Let's go 7 p.m. Cape Cod. Let's see what we got. A little bit of an inversion. Name 3K. I'll say it. Slide there. Let me get in the core of this right here. Yeah, a little bit of an inversion, around 60 degrees. You can see here how this crosses. Definitely some Cape present though, a little bit. Be interesting. It'll be interesting. Let's take a look here on the backside. Let's see how dry we are with snow. Oh, this is interesting. This is real interesting. This is a good snow sounding actually. Um, you go -20 here, but you saturate at the top of your dendritic growth zone, and you're saturate all the way down. This would get the job done if this were true. This would absolutely get the job done. 100%. That's plenty good enough. Let's see here. Yeah, this would do it too. This is a little dry. Little dry. Look how high your dendritic growth zone here is. My God. 450. This would be the heaviest wet of snow you have ever seen before. This would be like terrible snow growth here. That's about as that's the worst snow growth I've picked up on a sounding all winter. That'd be a heavy wet snow, man. But yeah, this you can see here on the snow soundings. This would get it done. Dendritic growth zones right here. This will get the job done. Let's see. I got a high wind watch for this system. Wind gusts up to 55 forecasted. Definitely think 60 is possible in southern Rhode Island. Yeah, I'd say that's a good estimate. I think 50 to 60 plus mile per hour wind gusts in southern Rhode Island is definitely a good bet. I'd say this right, because this I mean, the more I look at it, this low level jet here, it's really going to come down to where exactly it's confined to. So if this low level jet is a little bit farther west, um, and we're amplifying the system a little bit more too, we're going to keep pulling up this right. Right, the more warm air we can pull up here, the higher the wind threat gets. Right, the more right we talk about it, that vertical column in the atmosphere. This is critical here. This vertical column in the atmosphere, right? We're at the surface, right? Your location here for wherever we choose. Say here, southeastern Mass, right? And we're here at 850, right? So how the higher the temperature is going to allow more of these winds to mix down to the surface, right? And especially heavy precip 2 along that thunderstorm line is going to allow, right, these precipitation help bring down these strong winds down to the surface as well. So if we get into the low 60s, I think if I think kind of around 60 is going to be that mark potentially for damaging wind. If you're getting only into mid 50s, I don't you're going to be at risk for damaging. Once you start getting into 59, 60, and especially into the low 60s, I think that's where there could really be a concern for 60 to even 70 plus mile per hour wind gusts, right near hurricane force wind gust potential with this system. Yeah, no snowpack. Sea surface temperatures, they're kind of a mix. Sea surface temperatures, we can look at those again. Sea surface temperatures, part of it's warm, part of it's cold. Let's see here. Right, we have a couple cool eddies off here, and then warm eddy here. So it's not too ridiculous. For places here in Eastern Mass, they're actually probably pretty heavy, consider the amount of times they get screwed over by that coastal front setup. But yeah, not snowpack won't be a concern at this point. In the squall line that comes through, I can zoom out again. Actually, I like the 110. You can keep it there. Um, so right, this the squall line that comes through, right? That's where right out ahead of it, you'll get some really strong winds that come and be right as the low level jet moves through. That's where your highest impact for wind will be. What would happen if a massive snowstorm in the Northeast defied all norms and moved east to west, dumping snow in the reverse of unusual patterns? Um, Theoretically, it's possible. Um, but it would have to stop at some point because that's just not how the atmosphere. It's not how the atmosphere works in the mid latitudes. In the mid latitudes, everything gets pulled east, right in the more towards the equator. You have your trade winds that push things westward um, until they get enough influence from the mid latitudes, and then east. So it's really it's theoretically possible that you could maybe get a pattern that pushes something real far or a setup, but unlikely that you would see something like that happen. A good creative mind. Good, yes, good comment, John. Creative mind, indeed. But highly unlikely given, um, at mid latitude, the jet stream wants to push things east and north, um, not really west, right? Things can slow down briefly and come westward, but only for long before it sends out. Always trying to think of some interesting topics. I'm not that boring, am I? I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. But yeah, we this one is not going to be doing that. This one going to be sliding north and heading out of here. All right, this time frame though, this is your time frame right here. 4 to 12. This kind of 6 to 9 hour. Any risk for tornadoes? I don't think we have a lot of directional wind shear with this. So I would say likely not. Let me take a look. Not a ton of directional wind shear here with this setup. I don't think the Storm Prediction Center. I can take a look, see if they mentioned for it too. I haven't looked too. No mention either from the National Weather Service here for tornado threat as well. So I would say very unlikely. Um, I can't say non-zero until I look a little bit further in depth um, across models, but very unlikely that this is you see any tornadoes with this. For southern New England as well. Yes, Ando noisy. More of the question: do you think there have been more clippers in the last few years? Seems like we get 10 clippers for every one. No, there actually have been less clippers. This winter though, there's the start we had more. It's kind of the difference. But there have not been a lot of clippers over the past few years. We've been lacking in that area actually. I mean, we're in a more volatile. We see more quick, drastic changes in our patterns now. There's going to be more volatility. Um, just in and out of patterns quicker. Just it's going to be harder to hold setups for long periods of time. Patterns, I should say. And that's kind of just where we're trending with our current climate. That's the reality. So yeah, so that I think we covered a good amount. There's a strong wind threat here. You can see. Let's go max swath. 10-meter gust swath. Oh, right. Even though the GFS pushes the core of this further east, I mean, you still get some real strong wind gusts here. Peak wind gusts. In all these models, I'd always take 5-10 miles per hour off. So whatever these are, I would take at least 5 miles per hour off. because they often fail to materialize as strong as this. Here, see, NAM was a little bit stronger for more people. See, like this one here with, New York City, Jersey coast could be a real close call. Delmarva coast as well. I would lean, I would lean on the wind forming here. I would lean towards it just because you're going to be mid upper 60s. That low level jet is really just starting to take off, even though it's not at peak. It's really starting to amplify and take off. Um, Go here, go to upper levels, upper air height. Give me two. Upper air wind. Give me 250. Um, it doesn't best show what I wanted. Here we go. All right, that upper level jet, that low level jet is really just starting to crank here, and so I think places, you know, here could perform pretty well. NAM runs a little bit farther west here. On this run, would be nice if we get a Clipper bomb this winter like Juno. That was really fun. Blizzard 2022 was as well. Yes, those were good Eastern Mass blizzards. I would take both of those. Preferably the 2022 one, a little bit more expansive, but I still made out all right on that one. Ended up with a foot and a half of snow there, so I was fine with that. Let's see. RGM usually is lower with the wind, but you can see, look where the low level jet is. Expansive, like that, like the NAM as well. This would get a lot more people involved here, and this would definitely be a bit of a concern. Let me go see how much it surface here. Usually this is more accurate with wind gust surface. Be a better idea. Yeah, that'd be. I would lean a little bit some closer to this, where right inland here, like 40 to 60 mile per hour wind gusts, and then here off, you know, and then here in Eastern Mass, Long Island, and that Jersey coast. I think this Delmarva area. I'm going to say this area. This area here is where your strongest wind gusts will be. This will extend up here to the main coast as well. There we go. Something like that. Yeah. So yeah, this is gonna be super nice. But yeah, I got my own little band after on that 2022 one, but that was definitely a nice one. I 100% disagree. We are in pattern now. I'm talking about hike. That's what I don't know where you were listening to with that, but I wasn't talking about the current. This current pattern too is not stable. We're going to be reloading back and forth, so we'll be going back and forth. Um, you know, and it. I mean, we've had crazy temperature swings, guys, over the years. Plenty of them. Plenty. It's not as uncommon as you think to be like 50 and 60. A lot of times, you can get a good storm when you're 50 and 60 the day before, and then a lot of times you can snow the next day. It's possible. It's not the case with this one, but with certain setups, I can remember. I can't remember the dates, but I can remember a few for sure. One was February 2016. I don't know if you remember that one. That was an example of that. February 16. There was a good snowstorm. It was like a good 6 to 12 inch snowstorm, I think, for southern New England. Maybe some places in I-95 Northeast. Remember that well, but that's one example. Yeah, I think Reggie, our GM here relays a good idea on the wind threat. Our GM's conservative too, so if this is its conservative look, I don't want to see it get too much higher. And take a look here how it's kind of increased. This was 12Z, 06. Let's amp these up kind of. Let's see, it was 18Z. All right, up these wind gusts a little bit from early this morning. No, I don't want to go that far. And national. NWS, yeah, I don't agree with this. I wasn't gonna call him out on X, but I don't agree with this whatsoever. Like, I don't know how you can look at this and think that the max wind gust is gonna be 25 mile hour, 25 to 30. Like, I don't know how you look at this and think it's gonna be upper 20s mile per hour wind gust for Northeast Mass. Like, I don't know how that can be. Like, you must really think this is gonna be the brunt of it. It's gonna be offshore. So I really think they're underdoing it right now in terms of wind gusts. Like, they have the watches and the warnings up, but their wind map does not reflect the watches that they have up, in my opinion. I don't mean to bake on them, but we talked about. I'm just my opinion from a relaying. They have the best, most power with their forecast. So they get the most criticism out of everybody. Wonder if we could get another crazy Arctic this winter. Last crazy one was February 4th, 2023. I had a feels like a minus 30 degrees. It's possible. We have a. I guess that's a good segue for what we're looking at for going down the line. Um, slide here. Let's do Conus upper 500. Let's go. Let's get her done here. So I said keep an eye on the 14th to 18th. I'd still say that. Keep an eye on that. Again, without clear high latitude blocking, some of this stuff gets difficult. But again, you got a 1048. You got a 1050 high pressure sitting over southern Canada. Count me interested. So we'll get cold, right? We're gonna be cold again. We're gonna be cold. That's 1 p.m. We're gonna get pretty cold again. So we go to thermos. 2 minute type anomalies. You can see, boom, right below average again this weekend. All right, probably good 5 to 10 degrees below average again. And then after that, right, we get warmer. We get another warm air mix to come through likely, and then from there it gets a little bit more difficult. But right, there's just some cold air a little bit there in Canada. Right, so it's just a reload. That's not a hot take. Cold air in Canada, shocker. But we do have we're in a bit of a reload pattern right now where we get small polar vortex stretches. But I'll say if you continue to reload polar vortex stretches, you continue even as small as we've done and we continue to do, you can allow that eventually. You're kind of it makes it harder for the polar vortex to strengthen a lot, and it strengthened a little bit over the past couple weeks. We've seen that happen, but again, we're still tapping into it. We're using it for this current storm here. There's a lobe of the polar vortex right here. So we're continuously still tapping into this cold air here. And I posted earlier, keep an eye or don't. Keep an eye for a potential a bigger than what we've seen polar vortex disruption. Don't do that. No, 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 no. Why is you? Oh, did I? Maybe I did that when I downloaded it. It's possible. So this is average temperature, right here for the polar vortex. You can kind of see pretty steady holding, and then notice as we get to mid-month here, which we almost are. We start all of our ensembles suggesting that we're going to potentially warm here at our polar vortex, and this could potentially allow, right, when we warm our polar vortex, that gives us an opportunity for a potential disruption and a potential bigger disruption as well. And so we could potentially get this could set up potentially, at some point either far late December or into early some point in January. This could set up potentially a good winter pattern, maybe depending on how it unfolds. Remember, just because you get a vortex to stretch, it doesn't guarantee that or disrupt or a bigger disruption. It's more gray area than people make of it. In between stretches and southwest, but so there's and just because it matters where your cold air filters down to, um, where exactly your lobe comes down from the polar vortex and how it sets up, so or how it as well. So there's a lot of different factors that go on, for when making polar vortex um, projections. But inconsistent ensembles here suggests that we're going to move towards a period of potential. It gives us an opportunity for potential that January might be a little bit more of a wintry month than we've seen in past years. Um, I like that, and also CFS too, with below average temperatures forecasted in that time. So we're giving an opportunity, at least I think, for January potentially be exciting if we get a polar vortex disruption here. But again, December does not, this isn't as bad as people think. We keep reloading this pattern, at least giving opportunities to get into storms. Yeah, me too, Noisy. That'd be nice, but I think this winter will be more smaller. I don't think it's possible. I mean, whatever happens, happens. I hate making predictions, but gun to my head forecast, I would lean more towards more stretching events this winter. Um, some being bigger than others, and from there we can, uh, again though, you keep getting bigger stretching events. That can allow you eventually, right? You weaken that polar vortex. If you keep weakening it, then you can allow it, to potentially you get a bigger disruption to happen, and that's where you could really get winter to kick into action. Right, the more it's like playing a game, and you're playing Fortnite, and you keep shooting your guy and you keep knocking damage off of him. You're weakening him. There's only so much you can do to recover eventually, and eventually, boom, knocked. So that's kind of a similar idea with the polar vortex. You keep weakening it, you give an opportunity to give way for cold air to splash down. But it's been relatively weak, very weak polar vortex stretches so far. Um, so nothing too crazy, but we have tapped into polar vortex this winter. Let's see, how can I drop a poll here? I want to drop a poll in chat. Do that. Just gonna I gotta figure out how to do that. Start dropping polls. But yeah, so I think the rest of winter is still is still looking. Um, it's not looking negative or extremely positive. So a lot of people like to make their claims, but I think we're looking all right for for the rest of the December. I would lean away for I-95. I would continue to in favor interior places. I can in favor interior places and lean away from I-95. But you never know. You never know. All it takes is one, right? We talked about that last night. All it takes is one. So yeah. So again, we're going to keep following this. Um, Keep an eye here on this. On this, I'm going to start watching this to see we get some more consistency here. GFS really wants to make January interesting, and so does the Canadian, as well. That could be really interesting, and Euros does as well, just a little bit later. So really, all three of these models, take a look by Christmas, have some sort of relatively significant warming event going on in the polar vortex that could real interesting January for sure. You got to remember, as we move closer to January, we get colder too, just on average, right? Between the tilt of the sun, our sun angle, right, that starts to play more of a factor, and that gives way now for more cold air to just naturally be there as well. So now, if you're tapping into the polar vortex, you can really uh, get have January be a more than positive winter month, which we can't say the same in past winters. Sure. So what we got on YouTube? Oh, reminder, if you're in YouTube, like that stream, baby. Like it. You know, if you're enjoying the content, keep expanding here. Keep expanding. We're doing awesome. We're gonna get big here on YouTube this winter. So, uh, I appreciate all you guys watching, rewatching right now. It's you know we're doing our thing. We're just waiting for the big winter storms to come. That's it. That's all we're doing. Hopefully we can get a few of those this year. See anything interesting here in this long range? Always like peeking. No, nothing. Again, didn't it do that 2 runs ago? Yeah. I was like, I swear I saw this. 18Z yesterday. Keep an eye on, maybe. Maybe. Just maybe. Let's see what we got. How have the AI models performed? That's a great question, Kevin, actually. The Euro AI, I did not keep an eye on for this storm. This today's storm, I did not keep an eye on. But the Euro AI did a decent job with some of these other systems in the previous. The Euro AI, the GFS GraphCast comes out twice a day, which isn't bad for it's just in general, but um, so I just end up last, and it comes really delayed. That's really the more thing. It's not the fact that it's only twice. It's just it comes in really delayed. So at that point, we're seeing all the 18Z models starting to come in, and it's still hasn't loaded. But the Euro AI model I think it's held up rather well in my opinion. Again, I wouldn't use it it's a little bit of a lower resolution here. Um, so I wouldn't use it like super close up. I wouldn't like hold too much stock. Get like too caught up, but I think the Euro AI model has done a pretty good job this winter so far. AI is taking over, ladies and gentlemen. It's taking over. Oh, it's 0Z. That's why. I was like, dang, that's not even close. I'm trying to compare. Maps. I'll look at your question in just 1 second, noisy Andy. After I check in on my AI, your AI here. No. Go back. Did I go North America Zoom? Where'd I go? I did do North America. Son of a biscuit. Upper air, heights, 500. Was wondering, haven't heard much about them. The Euro AI, I have to give it credit. It has been, I think it's done a fantastic job. See, what hour would I have this at? Freaking go back. 54. 54. Not too different from the regular Euro, but a little bit. Small changes. It's the bottom of our vort here again now, a little bit more in front. See how it compares to the GFS. Oh, come on, don't do that. Don't do that. Oh, hell no. No, go back. Go back. Yeah, the Euro AI has been very encouraging, in my opinion. 54, or I guess 48. See, there's differences though, a little bit. Again, lower resolution model, so closer up. I think this maybe not our best bet, but intrigued. Euro AI is encouraging. I think the Euro AI in the medium range and longer range might be better. Um, what is this? Hey now, what on here? Where's their 850 at though? That's too far north. 850 is a bit too far north there. You can take a peek. Yeah, I mean, as we get into this period, yeah, I see what you're talking about. Euro AI with a blizzard December 21st. Thanks for pointing this out. But yeah, it just goes to show that this pattern, as we get towards just the beginning of the latter part of the month, I don't want to go too far in like the very towards Christmas, but this period here over the next like 2 weeks, we'll say. I guess we can go a little bit towards Christmas. This pattern here over the 2 weeks is going to be a reload pattern where um, it's just going to be basically threading the needle for 2 weeks. So it's not a favorable snow pattern by any means, but it's one of them where you could still get just because you don't have a favorable pattern does not mean you can't get a favorable setup. There's a very big difference, and there's a big misconception with that. So I would very much continue to keep an eye on models, see what's going on, because you can reload. We're reloading this pattern here with small stretches here from the polar vortex, and it's giving opportunities to get snowstorms still. Doesn't guarantee, and it's not even favorable for that matter. It's at least giving you opportunities. Look at that. That is Yeah, it's damn near textbook right there. That 500 height. You get everything lined up a little bit more too. You get even bigger, but that's just that specific one. Do I? Yeah, why not? Why not? Let's have some fun. Let's see, Noisy Andy. Having a good Pacific also the New England needs. Negative NAO is probably not as important here. For me, not. I don't think any one teleconnection is more important than the other. I think they all play a part. I think in certain patterns, one's more important, but in general, I don't think Pacific does make it oftentimes difficult. Um, just where we've been with La Nina over the past strong El Nino and La Nina, or at least moderate over the past few winters. Um, it does make it difficult. But I don't think I put something out a while ago. It's like a quoted tweet. You could maybe find it if you wanted to look for it. Or is it Ando? I keep calling it Andy. Whatever. Uh, that you can find. That I was talking about. I don't think it's anyone because I had someone say like this is more important. I found with winning. I was like, for me, it's like I don't think it's anyone. Not to play devil's advocate necessarily, but um, I just think it's just really what I was thinking is that it's not any one specific model or teleconnection. Rather, they all just play a part, and a little impact from each one can make a difference. For specifics, maybe for patterns, but for specific setups to get snow, it's really all relative. Is what I would say. All right, let's see what the X minion goes. What they do right now. I'm telling. Hey, if that thing blows up, that thing blows up, and I get all those mentions again. I don't know. I'm just saying, but it would just be like, oh, it's always the risk you run, though. I'm the one who posted it. It's my responsibility. So, what is the GFS? What does that look like? Hour 288. Hey, GFS has got something there too. It's not the same, but it has a big old wart there. We can look at the graph cast too. We can look at the graph cast GFS. Any model that shows snow for me is my favorite. I agree. I agree. Hey, hey, Euro AI. Look at here's the Euro. Hey, let him cook. let him let let him cook. Euro AI. Let him cook. Let's see how much. So this is let me get. Let's dive in depth to this Euro AI hour 288 model run because why not? I'm an absolute snow sicko, and that's what I do. 850s. Yeah, we are. Look at that. Yeah, we are, baby. Yeah, baby. Surface precipitation. I wish I could get 2-day precipitation. A big old snowstorm right there. That's a double-digit one. But I would say right now, with this pattern, right, the Pacific is not like we don't have a crazy Pacific jet right now. Like if we look, I might hopefully I don't eat my words here, but we don't have a ridiculous Pacific jet like we've had in previous years, at least I believe. Is the wind regions? No, I want 250s. God freaking damn! I could go to where are my 250s at? Upper height wind, upper air wind. There we go. It's a strong. It's a there's a decent Pacific jet out there right now, right? And this warm air comes across. Right, this flow. This it's not coming from here. It's coming from here. So I can make it difficult. So we'll have to mix. It'll have time to fully mix it out. So for right now, um, you could argue that high latitude blocking is more important with the Pacific turned on, especially with the stretching events going on. So it's kind of either or. I want to drop a YouTube. How do I drop? How to make a YouTube poll live? From the bottom of the chat window, tap create a poll. Where? Do I have to go to here? YouTube. Let's create a poll. I don't know. Click here. Yes, I want to view my channel. I want to drop a poll for you guys in chat. How do I do this? Oh, now we're talking. Let's see. Let's do some over-unders. Let's do some over-under. NYC snow over-under. Actually, no. Snow prediction. Let's go here. Less than 10. 10 to 20. 20 to 30. Over 30 inches of snow. Let's see what you guys think. New York City. No. It's Euro AI though. Not too shabby. Not too shabby. Let's see, it looks like temperature wise. Look at that cold air. Yes. That'd be awesome. So I mean that's kind of the difference, right? Euro AI again agrees. Like look for this time frame, this like 16th, 17th time frame. The 18th maybe be maybe to be colder, but I think, or sorry, warmer. Jesus, come on, B. Again, you got an opportunity to reload right after. Yeah, we are in a drought, but remember, 2 to 3 inches of rain in such a short period of time can be problematic, especially with the snowpack for some of those places. I know southern New England uh, not have a lot of snowpack right now, but other places like Vermont, New York, uh, yeah, New Hampshire, in Maine, like there's a lot of snowpack. There's double-digit snowpack there for them, if not more. And so like it's a concern that like some of those places could get some real significant flooding. Along with that, it's good. It is good for southern New England, but it will come in a short amount of time. So flooding will be a risk, even though we are in a drought. 20 to 30 so far. It's a positive vote. So yeah. So the Euro AI is right. You sure? So all right, let's wrap it up there. We will all likelihood go live tomorrow night as well. Bearing anything crazy. So I appreciate everybody that came in again. Hey, like and subscribe if you're new, or if you're not, still like it. We want to keep expanding, so I appreciate everybody that comes in here. Let me know what you think on the poll too.